passive skills won. So let me explain you briefly. Let me guide you briefly through the new passive skill structure on redemption. You will no longer have just a bunch of perks that you can maximize eventually and so on. No, not anymore. Not in redemption where every decision is meaningful. Alright, so here this is the passive skill for sorcerers, for example, and as you can notice, you have 3 distinct branches, 1, 2, and 3. You can appreciate it by the colors, for example, right? And in this perk, you read, choose your destiny. You may deeply specialize in one branch, right? So, and then you will choose, depending on your gameplay, depending on whatever you feel more comfortable playing with, or what you want to give up to gain some specializations. Let's say you want a little bit more defense, so you will give up a little bit of attack. That's the kind of trade-off and philosophy that will be present in redemption. So for example, if we inspect a little bit the first branch, which is intended to be the glass cannon sorcerer, so you gain some damage, but you take some more increased damage. That's the dictionary definition of glass cannon. Alright? And same for other perks here. Finally, this one will be the mastery perk, which will increase and fully define the archetype or the specialization. Again, everything with a good specialization means you gain something, but you give up something else. Alright? Because if you only gain something, it comes to the point that all the vocations at the end will resemble, all the vocations at the end will have the same speed, all the vocations at the end will have kind of the same resistances, kind of the same damage reduction, kind of the same, boosted damage, boosted critical, boosted life, boosted blah blah blah. So, and the vocations blur, and the vocation's identity is not reinforced anymore, but it's killed. And how you solve this? By adding meaningful decisions and by adding trade-offs. Alright, so this is the main structure for any passive tree for any vocation, and for the first perk on each branch, you will require no player level. You can activate and max out one perk anytime, as long as you have passive points, passive skill points. For the second row, you need player level 80. And for the third row, you need player level 80 and at least 1 point allocated in here. Alright. For the third row, player level 150. And for the fourth row, you need player level 300. And one passive point allocated on the previous node at least. Worth noting that the second row, you may only choose one of the 2 perks, right? So, for example, speaking of Glass Cannon Mage, on the second row, you may choose Rune Amplification, so increases rune damage 1.5% per level, or deal increased damage when the enemy's HP are below 50%. I don't want to go like perk by perk, I just want you to focus on the structure and how it will be, like meaningful trade-offs, right? You may fully invest in one branch only, the numbers presented here and maybe some of the perks are not final. All right, this is highly developing and testing. But yeah, you get the final trade-offs. So for example, here in the glass cannon branch, you know that you will deal a lot of damage, but you will take more damage. All right. However, in the second branch, maybe you will receive a little bit less damage on certain conditions, because this one is focused on mana shield, for example. And on the third branch, you will deal slightly less damage than normally, but your cooldowns will be reduced. So that means that you are a rapid mage in this case. All right. So yeah, you gain something, but you give up something else. Let's just inspect one more. So this is the Knight passive tree. Knight passive tree, the first thing you notice is that there is 2 branches only. That's fine, because for Knights the specialization is very clear. Either they can go Berserk mode, meaning they require 200 weapons, because they are Berserks, so they will deal more damage, but they will receive more damage as well. That's how it works, guys. Balancing vocations and vocation identity must be defined and must be reinforced by having trade-offs. If you don't have trade-offs, you don't have vocation identity. All right. And then the second branch is more for the tank knight. So shield and one-hand weapon. And that's it. You will take less damage, but you will deal less damage as well. Let's go Paladin, because this one is semi-invested now. So I respect. All right. So Paladin will have 3 branches as well. And one of them will require, for example, using a crossbow. All right. The other one is using a bow. And the other one is a more flexible branch. So you can use either bow or crossbow. And this one is more focused, for example, on Paladin Life Leech and Paladin Bleeding. Alright. But you give up some of the damage and some of the critical chance, for example. On bow, you focus on cooldown reduction, on attack speed, because bows, of course, mean rapid or agile paladin. And the crossbow branch, for example, is focused on the best single target DPS on the game. Go to the druids. So this is a healing branch, which is very interesting and very useful, not only for team hunts, but also for solo hunting, so leveling. This one is a summoner branch, because druids will have powerful summons. You will get more information on that. And the third one is more of the crowd control, damage over time druid, right? So yeah, that's how it is. So in this branch, for example, what you give up, your damage is permanently reduced by some percent, right? But you gain something else. You gain damage over time, you get mana leech, you get something else, you know. So everything comes with trade-offs, and that is what will reinforce the vocation identity and more important, what will define your character, your player, right? What will define your player is your actions and your decisions in game. All right, guys. So I hope this was clear enough. I will post a full description on Discord as well. So make sure you go there, and yeah, stay focused, stay tuned, because more updates are coming, and some of them you don't want to miss. All right. So see you on the next one. Bye bye.